I am nearly 50 years old.
Hey everyone. Alright, so let's talk about what I'm playing. Let's start by talking about what I finished. Finally finished Metroid Prime Remastered. I dedicated some time this last weekend and towards the end of last week, just really, kind of, heads down, let's finish this game. And I finally pushed through the boss that I was frustrated on. I still kind of hate the boss. I kind of realized one of the problems that I have with the game that I didn't realize that I had when I first played it. But now that I'm playing it again and playing it in this glorious HD remaster, it's become pretty apparent what the issue is. And the issue is that the game has a very narrow FOV, and you can't broaden it. And so you really do kind of feel like you're always playing with blinders on. Like you can't really see stuff in the periphery. And in this one particular boss that I got stuck on for so long, the problem was the boss has multiple phases. And like he starts out, he's doing his thing where he lunges at you and sends out a shockwave, and then occasionally fires the rockets, and then if he's really close to you, he swipes. Well, when you destroy his gauntlets on his arms and his legs, you will cause him to disappear, and lesser pirates will appear, and they'll be the kinds that are weak to various types of attacks. But the problem is because that FOV is so narrow, it becomes this thing where you're just kind of like, I don't know, like rotating your tank visor. My metaphors are falling a little apart. The point is it becomes really hard to locate them. And then when you throw in having to, change your viewport to make it so that now you can see when he's respawned and is regenerating energy and all of the other things, it just makes it so that those enemies slowly whittled me down over time and made it so that invariably by the end of the boss battle, I had like one or two hits left, and all it really took was like one or two hits from the boss and the game was over. And honestly, if they just had an FOV slider, I think it would have made all the difference in the world. But it was a very stylistic choice that they made. I don't know if originally they made that choice, because they were going for a particular style, or if it was more, hey, that's the way that, games that are console only at the time presented themselves. But the point is that it made it more difficult than it needs to. But I did push through, and I beat it, and I can put it on the shelf. I will say this, the one thing about beating it really makes me want to go back and play the sequel. And I'm seriously debating about it. I could hook up my GameCube. I actually have a Wii that can play GameCube games. And it's hooked up right now. I might go back and play it. Or I might wait for the inevitable HD remaster of the sequel. Who knows? Point is, Metroid Prime is done. So, what am I still playing? Well, I am still playing Evil West. I'm really enjoying it. I mentioned last time that Flying Wild Hog was a studio that they did something that I was... there was some reason why I was excited for another game by them, and I've since gone back and looked. These are the guys that did... they did Trek to Yomi. They did the Shadow Warrior games, which I really did enjoy. They did some others. What else did they do? Oh, they did Hard Reset. I loved Hard Reset back in the day. They've done a bunch of other stuff with Devolver Digital, but I don't remember everything they've done. Point is that this is their newest game, and I'm enjoying it. I will admit this is going to be the next title that I'm going to kind of try to push through. I really want to play Resident Evil 4, and the fact that this is a third-person shooter and Resident Evil 4 is a third-person shooter means that it's hard to switch between the two because they have subtle control differences, and it's like your brain gets all confused. So I'm going to try to finish this one so that I can play Resident Evil 4. Alright, so what am I playing that's new? I've got a bunch of things that are new. Let's start with this one. This is Little Witch Nobeta for the Nintendo Switch. It's a very weird game. How would I describe this? So, it's vaguely Souls-like, which is the reason that I was originally interested in it. You have all of the standard Souls things of, like, locking onto the enemies and doing dodge rolls and having, weighty attacks. The difference, though, is that there's a real emphasis on spells, casting spells, which are kind of presented as a third-person shooter kind of thing. I mean, you've got this ice spell that's like pretty much just a machine gun. It's so in a lot of ways it's kind of closer to Remnant in a really weird way, because there's more of an emphasis on shooting, and yet there is undeniably a Souls-like strand in its DNA. But it's also like hyper cute and what is the term? Kawaii? I'm so old. And so it's weird. It's a weird combination of a bunch of different things that seemingly shouldn't work together, but they do. And I have to be honest, I'm really, really enjoying this stupid game. Yeah, I have nothing else to really say. It's fun, it's silly, and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Alright, another new one that I'm playing. Last Story for the Wii. I have a friend who, he had Last Story and he had Pandora's Tower, and he wasn't playing them, and, he was kind of, I don't know if he's really downsizing as much, but it was more, hey man, you want to sell those to me? So I picked them up and I'm finally playing them. I got these months ago from him. And so I hooked up my Wii. I actually got a Wii Pro controller, because I never had a Wii Pro controller. Anytime I needed a Pro controller, I would just use my Wavebird Wireless from my GameCube. If the game supported it, of course, because not all the games support it. But recently I realized, oh man, I have a singular Wavebird Wireless, and it's what I'm using for GameCube games and Wii games. I probably ought to get some more controllers as backups. So I picked up a couple of Wii Pro controllers, and I'm playing them with Last Story. So what is Last Story? It's a role-playing game. It comes from... I was really hoping... There it is. Mistwalker. Why isn't it on the front of the box? That's obnoxious. It's done by Mistwalker. Mistwalker is a game, or is a company that was founded by Hironobu Sakaguchi, I think. Anyway, he's the guy who created the Final Fantasy games, and after he retired from Square Enix, he founded this company called Mistwalker, and they started making games. And they made one of my favorite games for one of my favorite RPGs for the Xbox 360. Hang on, let me show it to you. Yeah, this is it, Mistwalker. Lost Odyssey. This is one of my favorite Xbox 360 games. It was a game that kind of got mediocre reviews, and I always disagreed with those reviews. This is a great title. This is a lot of fun. I mean, part of the reason that people didn't like it, I think, was it was a fairly short RPG. But It was fun. Point is, well, the last story was one of the other games that they made, and this one came out for the Wii. So, what is the story of the game? I have to be honest, I don't know. I'm not far enough in the game to really say with confidence that I grok the story. You're a group of characters that are a little mercenary group, and they're doing contracts for various people, and they send you into this kind of ruins, which I don't really remember if they tell us what we're doing in those ruins, now that I think about it. Anyway, the usual crap happens, stuff goes sideways, and one of your characters gets some magic ability from a talking door or a talking wall or something, and, that thrusts them into some grander scheme. The problem is that so far I can't really tell what the overarching story is. It's early in the game, so I haven't gotten very far, but they really don't do a great job of setting up the story, in my opinion. Hoping it's going to become clearer as we go along. The thing that's interesting about this is the combat system is kind of bizarre. It's very, it's kind of an auto battler. Your characters, when you walk up to an enemy, they're just gonna, when the cooldown is ready, they're gonna start attacking. But then you have these extra abilities, like you can use a viewfinder to not only point out targets for your mage to attack, but also shoot arrows at the enemies. And then, of course, you have the ability to dodge, and you have the ability to block. Presumably, you have the ability to parry, although I don't think I've ever tried to parry. Anyway, it's so far so good. It's pretty fun. And I gotta be honest, I want to go play it right now. What else is new? So another thing that's new, I finished Vampire Survivors, got 100% of the achievements on it, both on Xbox and on PC. I just kind of been craving some similar kind of roguelite thing that I can kind of play both on my Steam Deck when I'm, sitting up on the couch and my wife is reading a book next to me, or, after everybody's gone to bed and I'm listening to some music and I just want to zone out and play something. So what I have picked as a replacement for Vampire Survivors is a game called Peglin. So Peglin it's vaguely like, it's Peggle. Let's be honest, it's Peggle. The classic game of dropping balls and knocking pegs out of the way, a la pachinko. It's Peggle, but it has this extra layer of role-playing aspect to it as you gain new abilities and use the pegs to defeat enemies. And it's all wrapped inside of a roguelike shell. It's actually, honestly, very similar to something like... It's very similar to Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire has this kind of, fork in the road kind of progression where it's like you sit there and you can pick which way you go. And then the ways that you can go are represented by icons. And that's exactly what's happening in Peglin. Anyway, Peglin is... it's fun. I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. And... I got nothing else to say. I don't know how to end videos. I have a jar. Mason jar. I don't remember why this is here. I need to probably take it upstairs. Alright, goodbye. The cats are descending upon me. Kitties. I know. What? What do you need? No, I don't want you to lie in the middle of the games. Just lie down there. Just chill. You can stay. You chill. and let me do my thing, please. I'd really like it. No, see, now you're climbing up and you're walking across. You're going to step on my games that I have set out so that I can talk about them. And I'd really prefer it if you didn't. And now you guys are going to fight. Because Tink doesn't want a stinky boy next to her. Ooh, look at her. She's so angry. What are you doing up here, Jobs? I was having alone time with Daddy.